Welcome back, everyone, to another Out of the Park baseball. We are in the 2023 season. That sounds so weird. It's not going to get any better saying that. It's not going to get any less weird saying that. But so when I last left you all, man, I am struggling today speaking. We were just started the 2023 season, and a lot of hopeful things in the works. We were trying to build off a division title, NL Central title. That's our second in 3 years, but we got swept. So we're trying to make advances in the playoffs. So we simmed a couple games. I actually played quite a few of these, but I simmed some others. And you can see here on the graph, on the division graph, we started off pretty hot, but have cooled considerably since. So we'll kind of recap the first. We will recap the first month or so of the season, and we'll also make some trades. We'll start scouting because they just had the draft pool announcement yesterday as well. But some crazy things happened. Well, not really crazy things. I just should say things of note happened. Tyan came back to Pittsburgh, one of the first games I played of the season against the Rays. He got hurt in the game, like 2 innings in, shocker. And the Buccos, and we just ran up the score on them. McKay struck out 16 in the game. He threw 140 pitches. I'm going to try to go find that box score, actually. Let's just go to team schedule. We're going to go back to the Rays. Yes, he was one of the first games of the season. I think it might have been this one. I'm not sure. Yeah, so this is the game I'm talking about. Brendan McKay went 2 for 4 in it. He threw 144 pitches, struck out 16, which tied a Pirates record. I almost took him out in the 8th, but had a commanding lead, and I thought, you know what, let's try to get him to 17 strikeout. And he won. I think he retired the last 4 batters, but didn't strike him out. So luckily, the damage his arm. He was definitely exhausted, but yeah, Tyan, you can see here 3 1/3 and got hurt. So he took the game score very low. So I always like beating up on Tyan when he comes back. Yeah, you can see the game notes here. Injured while pitching, and McKay ties the regular season record. So that was kind of special. He's having a great year. His WAR is already at 2.3, I think, between his batting and his pitching WAR, which this part of the season is pretty crazy. So Hader is dealing too. So that was one of our off-season transactions that we had. We'll come back to the schedule here in a second. But let's see, Josh Hader already recorded 6 saves, 1.46 ERA, 0.89 WHIP. I mean, this is, to be honest, I'm not going to mince words. I mean, if he's at 1.2 WAR already, and his BABIP's still very high too. So, but if he has continues to have a season dominant like this, well, never mind. I was going to say something ridiculous. I was going to say like Cy Young, but it's not the 80s. Relievers, he's not Kenta Colvey who gets Cy Young votes. So that's okay. I'm being a little ridiculous here, but he's having a incredible season so far. He came in a couple of those wins at the beginning of the year, not in a close situation or a save opportunity, but in high leverage situations, and has completely got the Buccos out of it. So he has been dealing right now. So the sweep of the Rays at the beginning of the year was something that I thought was impressive. So we're going to go back to the schedule here. So we swept the Rays, and then the series after that, we played the San Francisco Giants, and we had a bizarre, and I actually played this game, a 15-11 loss to the Giants, but it was wild. It was completely wild. So they took the lead early. They scored for the first 4 innings, and the Buccos took the lead, and it was back and forth throughout. Gonsolin pitched 5 innings and gave up 9 runs, and that still wasn't that bad because Webb pitched 4 innings, gave up 7 runs, so it was still a close game, so there was really no reason to take him out at that point, but just back and forth, and it finished in 9 innings too. So just a interesting game there. And in this game, I'm trying to remember who hit the home run. Gray. Oh, sorry. I was trying to think of who did. Tristan Gray hit a home run that was 429 feet to right field. So I looked it up, and the distance from home plate to the Allegheny River is 456 feet. So I figured by the way the animation looked and how much he crushed that, I figured that definitely landed in the Allegheny. It was about 30 feet short, but still a mash nonetheless. So that was a pretty incredible game there. And then in that same series, I think it was the very next game too. No, it might have been this game here, but I'm not sure what game it was. But we came back from a 5-run deficit and wanted them to win. It might have been the Tampa Bay, I can't remember. But one of those games we played, we came down from 5 runs in about the 6th inning to win. So just interesting start. And then we started simming a little bit more, and we continued losing. And then the beginning of May has not been good. I mean, we got beat by the Dodgers in 3 of 4, and then just lost one to the Brewers. So that kind of leads us to where we're at here. 2.5 out from the division lead with the Brewers. We're in the midst of a big series right now. 2 games behind the stinking Cardinals, and 1 game under 500. So, I mean, I think we're very much in the race still, but there's a few changes that we're going to make today before we get to the scouting piece of it. This is going to be a totally administrative video too, by the way. We have had to come to the hard choice. Not really the hard choice. It's been proven over and over again that, I mean, the Kyle Lewis right field experience is over. We can't have him clogging up the middle of the lineup. I mean, if you looked at how he's played so far this year, minus .6 WAR a month into the season. Now I'm okay with keeping him around, and we are going to keep him around, but we're gonna send him down to AAA because he's just not a major league. I mean, he's really living off that year with Seattle, with those 2.5 years with Seattle. So he needs to go to AAA. Not necessarily develop himself. I mean, if he gets better, it doesn't look like him just by how his basic batting rating bars are, but he could become a serviceable defensive substitute. But how we're going to formulate our roster after a couple of these trades, we're not really going to have room for him on our active roster. So we're going to put him, and he still has options left, so we're going to put him down to AAA. And I mean, if he can turn around, great. But he's already leads the MLB with 58 strikeouts. So he's been to bat. He's had 133 qualified at bats. I mean, he's had 152 total plate appearances, but he has struck out in 58 of them, which is incredible. I mean, if we kept him in the lineup for a full season, I always want to do that just to see how many he would rack up, because he might challenge for the record. The record was just broke like 2-3 years ago. I can't remember. Mike. Oh, I'm losing his name. What is it, Mike? I don't know. Whatever. Comment below if you can think of it, because I'm drawing a blank right now. But 58 strikeouts in the 1 month of the season or 2 months of the season is mind-boggling. So we need to make some changes in the right field, and hopefully bring some power in too. But for the most part, our bullpen has done pretty well. Our starting pitching is now fully healthy again. I mean, I cannot speak, like I said, highly enough of Brendan McKay. The 1.4 WAR overall from the batting perspective, but then if you look from a pitching perspective too, or 1.4 WAR for pitching, and then 0.9 WAR for batting. I mean, the guy's got it all. He leads the major leagues in strikeouts. I mean, that's going to help when he throws 16 in a game early on this season. But yeah, we lead the league in strikeouts right now, which is great. I mean, Josh Hader is completely dealing right now. Oliver Drake has been very good. He has come in high leverage situations so far, and you can see 14 Ks, 2 base on balls, and 12 and 2/3 innings. So he's done very well in high leverage. Giovanni Gallegos, he's done well too. And then Blake Cinderland, he has been much better when removed from the closer role. So last year we had him in the closer role, and you can see that he struggled quite a bit, his K to walk ratio. Now it's completely changed. So in the middle reliever setup role, he has done extremely well this year. But we have trusty Chris Stratton there for our long and middle relief. So far the bullpen, I like where the team's going. But Whit Merrifield is also playing very well for us. I was just going to get into Hayes, but we'll go to Whit. So we're going to go to batting stats here. I mean, earlier in the year, he was hitting over 400. He's hitting like 417. So he's provided quality at bats. And I went ahead and asked for the bench coach for the lineup, and they took him out, put Keyboom at second, and then put Hayes at third. I'm assuming that's for defensive purposes, but Hayes has really done nothing. And I think, after everything's said and done with our trades today, he'll still be on the team because he still has too much potential and he's still relatively young. But he may be in AAA. So we're going to see what we can do with the trade. So that's kind of where we've been so far this year. It's been kind of up and down. But if we can make a few tweaks, I think that we can be in a pretty good spot here once when we get deeper into the summer. So first things first, there's a couple of trades that I'm excited about making. So yeah, I have a minor league contract out there to Robbie Ray. He just recently got cut. So I mean, it might not be anything worth writing home about. He might end up just getting cut. But if you look at it, he hasn't pitched. I mean, he hasn't pitched really great. But we could slot him in, or he could go to AAA, AA, pitch. And if we had to bring him up for an emergency start for some reason, or if we needed him on the back end of the rotation for a game, there's nothing really wrong with that. So, I mean, we'd have to do some 40-man roster maneuvering, but I mean, there's no really bad case scenario right there. So we're going to go to player trade, and our first trade is going to be the biggest one of the day, and it's because the Kyle Lewis experiment is over. So we're going to trade with the Miami Marlins for J.J. Bleday. And they have a bit of a logjam right now because they have Bleday on their active roster, but then one of their top prospects, let's see if I can pull him up here. Oh, I keep screwing this up. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. This is what I wanted to do. Jesus Sanchez, and he's out of options. And he's, from a rating perspective, I know our scouts a little bit, we don't really have high scouting accuracy on him, but pretty highly rated and everything. But I prefer Bleday actually, even though we're not very we don't really know his ratings either. We're very low on that. But if you notice, doesn't strike out. His eye is much better. And then when you look at his ratings too, not terrible splits. And he has great gap power against right-handed pitching. I just think that this is someone who, again, still potentially arbitration eligible year. So I mean, this is good. And plus, I actually know someone, one of my I would consider him a friend. I don't know if he'd consider me a friend, but one of my friends, he's a huge baseball fan. He's also a reporter, and he knows the Bleday because I think there's two of them. I'm pretty sure. But he's interviewed them before, and he said that they're great people. So I think that's awesome. But what we're going to give up, and it hurts a little bit, but I mean, hey, to get, you got to give. First is going to be Cooper Kinney. He is, we drafted him not too long ago. Yeah, 2 years ago in the 4th round. But he is our third best second base prospect, and he's in a rookie ball. And then remember, we have Juan Harris coming up, maybe even this year. But Merrifield's playing well, and then we have Harris, and we have another person in front of him too. So I mean, realistically, there's not a great chance that he contributes for the organization over the long term. So I'm okay with trading him. And then the one that hurts is Gonsolin. I mean, he is, and I kind of want to just send him off. As with a lot of respect here. I mean, that 1 year in 2022, which was last year, pitched 144 innings, 170 strikeouts, 1.19 whip, 10K per 9. But again, look, he had a low BABIP, and it's really an outlier in the rest of his career. 2 WAR last year, 1.6, 1.9. Those are all AAA. But again, you look at back at any MLB, he doesn't get over 1 WAR. So it's tough for him to go. He's been a big part of the bullpen and as a spot starter over the past few years when everyone's gotten hurt. But I feel like because we have some depth in the minor leagues, with De La Cruz, I believe that's his name. I can't remember. He's going to come up, and then we have Jared Kelly too. So I mean, eventually, I think that this is a win for us. And right field is such a gigantic need for the Pirates right now that we're going to pull the trigger on that. And Blade will be our new starting everyday right fielder. All of his stats or all of his ratings check out. Decent base runner. Again, I'm gonna make sure that our right fielder can play right field at a high level. So so we're gonna pull the trigger on that. Complete that deal. So that's deal number 1. Welcome JJ Bleday to the old Buccos. It has a ring to it. I'm gonna like seeing him in the middle of the order. I'm pretty sure. So the other one that we want to make is a new signee from the Washington Nationals as a reliever. So Genki Kashiro, I guess how you pronounce it, but signed in 2020 by the Nationals. And, I mean, all of it, again, very low scouting accuracy here. But, I mean, look, he's either a neutral ground ball pitcher, and he whips it around pretty good, too. Throws right. Again, going back to the nicknames, he has a nickname, so I'm assuming that means that he's good. Hasn't shown a whole lot in the major league so far. I mean, total WAR in his career is like 0.2. So nothing great. But again, I think he could take Gonsolin's role in the bullpen. And you can see that he, even against left-handed batters, he still pitches well, but he pitches very well against righties. So, and I think the benefit of this deal too is that we're getting them to take on 100% of his salary. So we have to give up Francisco Hodge, which, I mean, come on, this guy is 22 years old in low A ball. I don't even care he's a left-hander. If you're throwing 87, 89 miles per hour, and this is your what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th year in rookie ball, I mean, your career's over. You're toast. You're not going anywhere. So we're going to give him up. Not a big deal. We also have Kyle Crick in the organization too. Not sure if anyone realized that, but 1.56 still arbitration eligible. I mean, he would just walk at the end of the year because we're not going to keep him. We're not going to keep him at all. So he went from pitching in the MLB last year to having an okay season down to AA, which he's again pitching okay. So I think that we're in, again, his stamina here. We already have back of the rotation pieces in our bullpen. We have Hader, we have Cinderland, we have Gallegos. I mean, we have so many high leverage back of the bullpen pitchers that I think he's a little expendable. The only way we really need him is if we ran into a rash of injuries. So I think we're getting a major league arm talent for a complete and total non-prospect and someone who's had his best days. So and we're getting them to keep 100% of his salary, which I think is awesome. So we're going to make that deal now. And there's a couple other ones that I will show you all that I was interested in, but I'm not going to make right yet just because we don't really have space in the active roster for, and I don't want to take on this unnecessary salary. The first one that I thought was really interesting, we go to the Athletics. We could get Ramon Laureano for nothing, and they would take 100% of his salary. Now, granted, you know, he's still in arbitration, coming up on the final years of it, but they would take 100% of his salary. I know he didn't play well last year, and he hasn't played well this year so far. And I don't know if you guys can guess, it's because of the OPS plus. So I mean, he is what I see. Again, we all know in real life this guy's a freaking cannon. I could see him being a good pinch runner, but I mean, are we at the stage right now where we are desperate for a pinch runner? No. I mean, he provides essentially the same positional right field rating that Kyle Lewis does. He has a better arm, obviously, but am I gonna want to bring this guy on just for kicks and giggles? And then, you know, I believe he's out of options as well. So I mean, it limits the flexibility that we have on our 40-man, and especially our active roster too. So I mean, maybe we could trade for him, put him down to AAA, which, you know what, that might not be a bad idea. But again, Kyle Lewis is going to go back. So if we're going to send Kyle Lewis back to AAA, in hopes that he gets better, I mean, what's the goal? Why are we trading for Ramon? But I will keep an eye on this, though, because, if we do maybe need someone off the bench or another defensive substitution near the trade deadline, we may come back here and work with the Athletics on this deal. The other one that is harder for me not to pull a trigger on is a deal with the Brewers. Oh, there it is, guys. It's been a couple videos that since the phone's gone off mid-recording, but there it is. So let me shut that off. And we can get Max Kepler, and we can get the Brewers to keep 30% of his salary for, again, a complete non-prospect. And if you look at Kepler, again, solid right field, solid range, good base running, and then great gap power. So if you look at the ratings, again, crushes righties, not so much on lefties, but this one is really hard to hold off on right now. I do want to see how the season maybe shakes up a little bit more, but I mean that's tough to hold off on. Let me know if you guys think I should make that deal. I'm still considering it, to be honest. I don't know. Dang. We'll come back to it if we need to. And then I have another one for a right fielder from the Blue Jays, but we won't dive into that one right now. So we're going to go back to rosters and transactions. So Kyle Lewis, brother, I am sorry, but you have to go to AAA. So we're going to bring up J.J. Bleday. And no, you're not going to play left field. You're going to play right field. What is it with this game sometimes? And then we are going to bring up Genki as well. So now you can see him slotted in there too. So I feel much better right now. So we're going to go back to just curious for the lineups. I want to see what the bench coach believes the lineup should be after this deal. See, they want to keep Hayes at Whit Merrifield is raking right now at second base, hitting .358. He's not coming out of the lineup. So he's coming in. He's going to play second base. Keyboom's going to play third. And we're going to go business as usual there. But I believe we'll get a little bit more power out of this as well. So we'll make sure that we have, see our defensive substitutions here. Hayes back there. And then we will say that Keyboom is actually the defensive substitution for Merrifield as well. So Newman's down in the minors. So, yeah, I just figured since you haven't seen him on the active roster, we didn't trade him or release him or anything like that. And then I'm interested to see. They've been taking May and Keller out of the rotation. You know what? I'm not even going to do it because I know exactly what they're going to do. So we're going to bring Kaneshiro in here as a middle reliever, and we're going to adjust this as well. So Brendan McKay, obviously the ace. We're going to bring in Dustin May behind him, Keller behind him, and then we'll switch it up and get Boyd number 4, just so we can switch up all the righties and lefties for no other reason other than that. So I will ask him for the for the bullpen. So yeah, the Cinderland and long relief. Well, I'll tell you that's probably not going to work too well. So we're going to adjust that and do setup, middle relief. So yeah, there we go. But yeah, I am happy with the team so far here. We'll play a little bit. I want to see what Merrifield is hitting at leadoff because I might want to switch that. Let's see, 2023 batting splits. Let's see. Is he bat? Yeah, see, he hasn't even batted first. He hasn't batted the top of the order yet. But I do like him having before the pitcher, spot because if anyone gets on before him, it's I don't want to say cleanup, but he can help move him. I mean, it's your best shot to get him in before. So I don't mind batting him eighth. I know that cuts down on his opportunities, but I feel like this is one of those areas where he's hitting really well in the eighth spot. If you give him more opportunities, does not necessarily mean more success. I mean, he's found his niche right now, so let's keep him there and see how it turns out. So now we're going to go, let's look at the draft pool announcement. So let's go and start scouting, huh? So prospect, not prospect pipeline, I'm sorry. Oh my, I'm all out of sorts here, gang. I think we have to maybe finish I think we have to finish the day. Lost 1-0, unreal. Am I completely just losing my mind about where to go to scout these players? I feel like I am. Oh, draft pool. There we go. Jeez. My bad, guy. Sorry to make you watch that. Okay, so let's start off with pitchers. We'll start off with the starters. And if you guys remember from last time how we do this, we're going to look at we're going to start with our scouting director and what he thinks. So average scouting accuracy, easy to sign. Let's see, throws right. College, so it could be a fast mover through the system. So we will just go ahead, create a new short list for 2023 draft. And we will add him to the short list. And we will ask for a scouting report as well. Let's see, who else do we have here? Okay, so high scouting accuracy. Let's see what they think he can do. Went to emergency starter role. Fastball, curveball, 21 years old. College, great. Competition level, he'd be hard to sign, but whatever. Introverted, personality. I mean, I think he's worth a scout per chance. I mean, we may not actually take him, but of course, I mean, that goes without saying. I may not actually take any of these players. Just me saying stupid stuff as I'm just trying to fill dead air. Ronan Kopp, lefty. You gotta love the lefties. Let's see, college, great competition level. Hesitant to commit. I do not like that. Says he's maybe good filler. But hey, the lefty. I mean, just like in real life, man, the lefty thing will get you opportunities all the time. So I mean, right now, and again, remember, you don't want to overload it because you want to have time to go back and scout players with again after their initial report comes back. Great competition level. Cream of his arsenal is a plus fastball, plus curveball, average changeup. Doesn't overwhelm with pure stuff, control issues, and he allows home. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So we're not gonna scout him. Like everything you don't want to hear about a pitcher. So okay. So that's the starting pitcher. We'll do all relievers next, and see what we have here. So let's see. Ernie Kittner. I knew a Kittner or a Kinter growing up. Great competition level. OSA is high on him. Good scouting. Kittner has the talent to be top reliever, even a feature closer. Okay, we will scout him. And again, you get these older guys who have this kind of trajectory. They can move through the system pretty quickly. So again, lefty. Here we go. Does what's asked of him. Okay. Halloran. It's a great name. Will likely be suited for setup or long relief. May pick up a few save opportunities. 50 stamina, average stamina. So we will go ahead and scout him. Let's see. Good competition level, but he's raked that competition level. Outlook is a bit of a mystery with ups and downs. That is scary to me. So we're going to pass on him getting scouted. He only throws 90 to 92 anyway, so not that means everything. But okay, so again, we're still basing our scouts here, our scouting trips on what our scout says. So we're going to look at batters. Man, our scout does not like this class at all. Hard to sign, age 17. Okay, I'm always. I was gonna say something it was gonna come off as very dirty. So we'll just move right along there. But Nate Friedman, high level speed. Interested to see how this turns out. The defense. Let's see, 270 batting average, has raw above average power. Could be above average center fielder someday. Okay, I mean worth it. Worth a gander. Carson Applegate, great name. Wow. Okay. This usually, if you have someone, and this is what I've found out. If I'm wrong or anyone has any other thoughts on this, let me know. Most prospects that you look at this stage they're gonna have defensive chops similar to the last person that we scouted, where it's like all Reds, like they're in high school, they're in college, they're not going to have a great defensive ability right off the bat. But because he already has 55 shortstop, I mean, I think that there's a very, very high ceiling on him from defensively. And I've noticed that in the past. I'm not sure if that actually means anything, where they have this high of defensive capability here. Speed is good. Interested to see the batting, though. Applegate's bat and his hustle should make him a front runner for an audition. I like the hustle part of that. That's great. So he's probably the favorite one I've seen so far, to be quite honest. And again, not really looking at positions. We have center fielder, shortstop. Already have high scouting accuracy on these guys, so don't really need to go and scout anymore. Okay. Okay, again, you're seeing pretty good defense. Very good level of speed. Wow. This guy, I mean, what is he, 6'3", and he's that tall? That's like, I mean, you're looking at like a Yelich or not really Bellinger. Yelich, I think, is faster. But we'll take a gander at him, too. Thomas DeLandry. Okay, let's see. Who else? That'll be very easy. Josh Halbleib, I believe is how you're going to pronounce that name. See, this is what I'm talking about when we're looking at position ratings. Most guys in high school or college look like this. Looks like he's going to need some work, though, because, I mean, that's great. Looks like he has tools. He's a very toolsy player. So, hey, we went to Pitt. Let's go. So we will add him to the short list, and we will request a scouting report on him as well. Let's see, how many other... AJ Klein, Arizona State, average competition level at college, good personality, good speed. We'll shortlist him. So now, okay, we've kind of gone down I don't want to say the rabbit hole, but we've gone down a few, rounds of prospects for us to look at. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change to the Scouting Association and see what they think. See, they have Dusty Seidner here, I guess is how you pronounce it. So, I mean, he is crushing it to plate. Yeah, see, our head scout, not a huge fan. But we will go through and we will scout these players as well. See, AJ Klein is up here. So again, because Klein is high here and he's high with our scouting director, I'm assuming that he's going to have a good career, or he's going to be a highly regarded prospect at the very least. So, Josh Hamby. So we'll do a couple more here. This is how you help build a #1 farm system, baby. I mean, I don't think I really had much to do with that, though. to be honest, don't want to take credit that it's not mine. So now we did that with batters. Now let's go to pitchers. All pitchers. And see, Ernie Kittner's up there, so that's great. I mean, slot demands $7 million. I mean, I'm sorry, Ernesto. Yes, I mean, should we give? Let's give him a scout. Let's just give him a scout, just for old time's sake. Patrick Foldy. Again, at this point, I'm not really looking at too many scouting reports because I've already looked at the scouting reports of the people that my scouting director wants me to look at. And there's usually the greater discrepancy there. So at this point, I'm just going through and adding to the short list and request a scouting report here. Okay, now I just want to make sure I want to look at starters. And yeah, we have a handful of them, but let's see if we can scout maybe a few more, especially some with easy signability. Oh, didn't mean to do that, but wrong short list, but whatever. Lefty, Sam McWilliams. It'll get you looks. All right, so we're about done. I mean, I think we put in about 20. I mean, the draft is about in 30 days. So we're going to come back next video, and we're just going to play. We're going to get into Bladay's first game and see how it goes. And who knows? I may double think this. I may overthink this or think about it more and decide to pull the trigger on Kepler in our next video. So thanks for being here. I know it was an administrative episode, but excited to get back and playing with you all here in the next one. Talk to you soon.